Hello. Just gonna make sure that I can see the comments. Let me just, there we go. Comments will appear here. Do we have anyone? Say hi if you're there, because all I've got is a live. Oh, hello. We have two people. We have Grace and Lena. Hello. But I get the most out of this little fascinator thing. We're here. Right. I should have just bought it a couple of weeks before for the VE Day thing. Missed a trick there. Getting the most out of my $6.99 Amazon purchase. For everything there is MasterCard and Amazon. Hi Amy! Light's a bit bright on me today because James set another lamp up, because when we do the green screen it has to be lit up bright, so that's why I feel like I'm being interrogated at the moment. I didn't do it! You can't prove anything, Copper. Okay, so the Ryan girls are working as a team tonight. These are going to be very general British versus Americanisms, so, you know, too harsh on me. It's what I found in my googly search. There's 4 of us now. Who else we got? We have Emma. Hi Emma. Probably just waiting for Louise. She's got 3 minutes to rock up. Bonjour. Mange tea. I've missed this format. Oh, Louise is here. Lovely. Yeah, old school tonight, just pen, paper and Facebook Live. And me. Although I'm here for the other stuff too. Yes. Well, so far, I think there's about 6 people doing Sunday's quiz. I don't know how many more times I can put it on there. Even if it says 25 people are going. It's like, you need to buy a ticket. When you buy a ticket, you get the link in your email from buying your ticket for the quiz. I think there'll be a bit of tough love for this one. Maybe like, so, me too. I think it's because we don't have much chance to message. Yeah, but remember we're aiming for, really we want sort of 40-50 people doing a big quiz when it's all singing and dancing. If we're paying out for stuff and there's a cash prize, obviously we need to earn the money to give the cash prize out, not giving people 50 quid out of our own pocket, or hopefully not for too long. So I know the YouTube commenting isn't as fluid as it is on Facebook, but you'll just have to adjust. No, Amy likes the YouTube comment section on there, so right, how are we doing? 1 minute left and then we can start. I'm going to do 20 straight questions because there's no theme to them apart from the general theme. No, British versus America. America. Okay. So nearly there. I think it's a simple, everything's 1 point as well, so it's out of 20 in total. There is a bit of spelling, so obviously hopefully you're a good speller. Just got to think about what Americans might spell things like. Just take out vital vowels, you know, and you've probably spelt it right or wrong. Oh, what did I... Sorry, I miss Amy's comment then. I'm doing it, just keep forgetting card details. Will eventually make it to the other end side of the room and remember why I went over there. I think we all do that. Kaz prefers the new version. Excellent. So, I mean, we've had to do that because if we're offering a prize, we can't just do it the way that we're doing it, because anybody could Google anything. And me and Jamie had a little go last night where it's like he asked me a question and I tried to Google it within the 20 seconds. So I thought, if you've got a team, you've got somebody on Google alert and somebody actually typing the answer in, then have they got enough time? Because I was concerned that 20 seconds was a bit too long. But it seems that if I make the actual question not a very basic, blatant, what is this, who is this, when did this happen, something that can easily be typed in, when did the Titanic sink, yeah, that you get an answer in about 4 seconds. If I say a different question, you know, what colour was the settee in Monica's lounge or something, and that might not be something so easy to actually cheat with, and that's what I was thinking anyway. So you get to keep your 20 seconds, but I've got to really think. It's harder work for me, especially the multiple choice, because not only have I've got to think of a question. Obviously there's the answer, but now I've got to think of 3 other feasible, possible, viable answers. So, oh, Louise knows it was cream. There we go. Right, let's start. We are there. So, hello everyone, and welcome to my little British versus Americanisms mini charity quiz. If anybody's seen on my Facebook as well that another charity for a little boy that sadly died of his brain tumour, but they set up a charity fund for him, and they've actually donated the last £2,500 that Charlie needed for the cost of his treatment. He's already there, but they still had that £2,500 to go for the end of his treatment, so they've done it. Well done everyone who donated, thank you ever so much. So, that's that. No, you don't get an extra point. Right, you ready? Question 1. So, Americans call it a vest. What is the British equivalent? Now, this one got me, because I thought, what a stupid thing to call it. But Americans call this item a vest. What is the British equivalent? When I said to Joan, they're like, no, they don't. Yeah, apparently they do. Sometimes we watch these YouTube videos where it's British versus American, like they test different snacks and that. Yeah, something me and Jamie would watch. And they did one where it's like this, words for things. And I actually found that there was more American things that made more sense than ours, to be honest. But not this one. Not this one. Janet's just joined. Do you want question 1 again quickly, Janet? Question 1 was, Americans call it a vest. What is the British equivalent? Remember, Janet, you won't be able to do that in the new quizzes. Rock up late, but today you can. Right. Question 2. We call it an aeroplane. Americans call it what? So this is we want the right spelling for this when you've written it down. So question 2, we call it an aeroplane. What do Americans call them? Yeah, they're good, those videos, aren't they? Yeah. We watch all sorts of crap on YouTube. Jimmy's got so many subscriptions. Normally when we finished a quiz, a mini quiz anyway, which will be something that will be different starting next week, but we'd go downstairs and watch a whole load of YouTube stuff, including one you have to look up. It's called Slavic Train. I think it's Slavic Train Rave. It's only like 10 seconds long, but it's the bumpiest train, and they put like a rave tune to it, and we just do a bit of a bop to it before we watch anything else. That's a bit weird like that. Question 3. Americans call it an eggplant. What do we call it? So question 3. Americans call it an eggplant. What do we call it? I think I'm with the Americans on this one, to be honest. Okay. Question 4. What do Americans call the bonnet of a car? So question 4. What do Americans call the bonnet of a car? Question 5. What do Americans call an estate car? So, you know, a long car, an estate car. They call it something very different. Normally a car that somebody's got from work, aren't they, when it's an estate car? Somebody rocks up in their long black BMW estate car. So it's a work car, isn't it? Okay. Question 6. How do Americans spell the word program? So, question 6. How do Americans spell the word program? Where's Casper? What's the drink choice? Oh. Private conversation. Okay. Question 7. We call it a baby's dummy. What do Americans call them? Again, I'm with the Americans on this for a name. So question 7. We call it a baby's dummy. What do Americans call them? Question 8. What is the American word for treacle? So question 8. What is the American word for treacle? Oh, my drink. Oh, sorry, I'm very boring tonight. It's just a massive cup of tea. PG Tips, specifically. And how do you make a cup of tea? You put the tea bag in, you put the sugar in, you put the milk in, and then when it's boiled, you put the water in. Controversial. Okay. Question 9. Americans play tic-tac-toe. What do we play? So question 9. Americans play tic-tac-toe. What do we play? Yeah, it's one of the ones from the Disney store. I've also got a Mike one. I thought nobody would like that. I can't help it. So my mum's always made a cup of tea. And I think, because my mum in the 70s was, you know, working in, she worked at the railway station in the buffet place, and she probably worked with a lot older women, and who would have been like in service in that. So, you know, a long time ago, people used to make tea like that because of the china. So, she's always made a cup of tea like that. I've always made a cup of tea like that. It's always weird when I go out somewhere and I've got a pot of tea and I've got to do it the other way. Unless they're nice enough to give me... Oh yeah, no, if they give me a jug, I can do it the other way. What are you talking about? I can always do it my way. Anyway. Yes, I am being serious. That's how I make my tea. Right, question 10. Now, this is the most massive pet peeve of mine with Americans, for their use of and their spelling and their saying of this word. How do Americans spell and say aluminium? So question 10. How do Americans spell and say aluminium? And the answer is wrongly. Now, I want you to write down how you reckon that they spell it. So you can't say it to me, but I shall say it to you, and you shall know if you're right or wrong. You should be wrong because you will be saying it wrong. The American way. It becomes a... Do you know what? Fair enough, some of them, they literally just take like the U out of colour, and it's still colour without the U in it. But this, they actually say it completely different. Well, nobody's in agreement with me with the T, but that doesn't matter. That's okay. Question 11. Americans use a crosswalk. We use a what? So question 11. Americans use a crosswalk. We use a what? Question 12. If we were to say, that's the end of it, full stop, in an argument, say, what would the American equivalent be? So if we said, that's the end of it, full stop, instead of saying full stop, what word would they probably use? If you was to complete that sentence with a different word at the end. It's a very American thing to say. We don't say that. Okay. You put the milk in the teapot. Oh God, what have I started? Oh, hang on. Repeat question 11, please. You're not very loud tonight. Okay. So question 11 was Americans use a crosswalk. We use a what? So Americans use a crosswalk, we use a what? What do we use? Question 12 was we would say in an argument, that's the end of it, full stop. What would the American equivalent to the end of that sentence be? They wouldn't say full stop. What would they say instead? Okay. Next one's a little bit rude. Can I redo 10? Okay, let's remember where I am. So question 10 was how do Americans spell and say aluminium? So question 10 was how do Americans spell and say aluminium? I have copious amounts of tea a day. That's, just so you know, that's how I make a cup of tea, several times a day. And it tastes lovely. A lot of the time when I have people's tea and they've made it the other way, it's too strong. So no. Okay. Question 13 I said was a little bit rude. So we would say having a wank. And the Americans would say what? So, question 13, we would say having a wank, and Americans would say, what are they doing? Exactly. It's just I am very old-fashioned in my tea drinking ways. Tradition. Okay. Question 14. We call it a swede. So this is a root vegetable. Do we know what a swede is for a start? I just about know what a swede is. No, I've eaten swede lots of times. So we call it a swede, but what do Americans call it? It's a weird word which I've heard, and I didn't think it was this. When they're talking about it, I thought, are they really talking about a swede now? Yeah, so the root vegetable, a swede, what do the Americans call them? Okay. Question 15. What are biscuits in America? They ain't biscuits. What are biscuits in America? Just a general, you ain't got to be exact with this, but when I say my not exact, very general explanation of what a biscuit is, if you put anything near that, then great. Question 16. What do Americans call the braces that you wear? So, not really, it's only like Peaky Blinders, blokes that think they're out of Peaky Blinders, gypsies, dids, they wear braces. Who else wear braces? Old men to keep their trousers up. But what do Americans call the braces that you wear? That some people wear. Well, if people are going to weddings, they wear braces, don't they? So they don't have to wear a jacket. Oh right, is this turned into some sort of mob rules? Thank you for joining just to tell me that you think my tea drinking is wrong. I make a lovely cup of tea. Are you asking what Americans call biscuits, or what no, I'm asking what the Americans have a thing called biscuits. They have a biscuit that they put in your food. What is it? Terry from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Okay. I don't know that I do know that. I've heard of that program. So. Okay. Question 17. Americans call them erasers, but what do we call them? Who uses a pencil anymore and uses an eraser? I hate pencils. I've got a real thing about pencils. I don't like the way that they feel when I actually use a pencil, and I don't like the sound, and I don't like the texture. It's one of those things that sets your teeth off. Well, mine anyway. Just don't like pencils. Okay. Discovering how strange I am tonight, aren't you? Question 18. We have a high street. What do the Americans call it? So, question 18. We have a high street. What do the Americans have? They don't have a high street. What do they have? You'd get that if you'd been to Disney. There's a clue. I love a... Oh dear. Yeah, don't scratch any pencils near me. No scratchy pencils. Question 19. How do Americans spell pyjamas? So, question 19. How do Americans spell the word pyjamas? Bananas in pyjamas. And last of all, question 20. We call it a football or rugby pitch. What do they call it? So we call it a football or rugby pitch. What do they call it? They don't call it a pitch. Right. Are we all up to speed? I forget how much lag we've got on this now. Right, we don't need any redos, do we? Because I've repeated a few. We all good? The answers? You show of thumbs and I know you're up to speed, and I can do them. Yep, okay, we're up to speed. Okay, so question 1 was Americans call it a vest, and what is the British equivalent? And that is a waistcoat. So how can they call a waistcoat a vest? We think of what we call a vest. Yeah, so if you put waistcoat, you've got a point. I am using a pencil right now. It's all right. I can't hear it. I can't feel it. It's fine. Question 2. We call it an aeroplane. Americans call it a what? And you needed to have written airplane. So A-I-R-P-L-A-N-E to get the point. And obviously the film Airplane with Leslie Nielsen in it. Plane in air. Airplane. That's where they went with that. Question 3. Americans call it an eggplant. What do we call it? Now I'm with the Americans on this because an eggplant is like egg coloured inside. It's a planty thing. It looks a bit eggy inside. Remember, these are generalisations, so these are the Google answers. So we call it an aubergine, which doesn't sound very British in itself. So if you put aubergine, that is right. Question 4. What do Americans call the bonnet of a car? And that is a hood. Question 5. What do Americans call an estate car? So a long car. They call it a station wagon. Question 6. How do Americans spell the word program? So obviously we spell it P-R-O-G-R-A-M-M-E, and they spell it P-R-O-G-R-A-M. They had no need for an extra M and an extra E. Where am I? Question 7. We call it a baby's dummy. What do the Americans call it? And with the Americans on this, they call it a pacifier. You are pacifying your baby, you give them a pacifier. Makes sense. Question 8. What is the American word for treacle? And that is molasses. Question 9. Americans play tic-tac-toe. What do we play? And our equivalent is noughts and crosses. The most annoying question. Question 10. How do Americans spell and say the word aluminium? So, they spell it A-L-U-M-I-N-U-M. Aluminum. It's a different bloody word. Aluminum. Yeah. So if you put that word like that, spelt like that, you say it like that, you got your point. Question 11. Americans use a crosswalk. What do we use? You could have put a zebra or a pelican crossing. Question 12. We would, in an argument, we might say that's the end of it, full stop. What would the American equivalent be? And they'd say something like, that's the end of it, period. So really, period was the word. Okay. Question 13. We would say having a wank. And Americans would say jerking off. There you go. I think everybody got that one right, probably, if they've seen American stuff. Question 14. We call it a swede, so this is the root vegetable. What do Americans call it? And apparently they call it a rutabaga. Now I've heard of it. I've heard that word used, but it's a rutabaga, which is a strange word. I prefer Swede. Swede. Question 15. What are biscuits in America? So a biscuit in America is, like, they've described it as a type of quick bread, a bit like a savoury scone or a dumpling type thing. So, you know, you get a biscuit with your dinner. You know, you give somebody a biscuit with their dinner over here, they're like, what's that? Is that my dessert to have with my tea afterwards? So, period. Yes. Question 16. What do Americans call the braces that you'd wear? They call them suspenders. A zucchini is a courgette, isn't it? Zucchini? Courgette? I like that word though, zucchini. Biscuits and gravy are utterly repulsive. The only Disney food is I'll never buy again. Yeah, they were kind of pointless, weren't they? I loved the Disney, you know, in the breakfast that we got, there was like a great big ball of, it was almost like cabbagey stuff. It was weird, I don't know what it was called, but it was lovely. Yum, yum, yum. It was a nice bit of my Disney breakfast. Question 17. Americans call them erasers. What do we call them? A rubber. Question 18. We have a high street. They have a main street. Question 19. How do Americans spell pyjamas? So just to clarify, we spell pyjamas P-Y-J-A-M-A-S, and they literally do pajamas, P-A-J-A-M-A-S. So if you put it that way, you've got yourself a point. And last one, question 20. We call it a football or rugby pitch. What do they call it? So they call it a field, a football field. I don't know rugby. Obviously, they have American football field. So it's not a pitch, it's a field. So that's simply out of 20. How did you do? I told you they were all generalisations, so it is what it is. So Emma got 17 out of 20, well done. Grace got 8, well, and the Ryan family got 18 out of 20, well done. Yeah, soccer field. Janet got 18 out of 20, well done. This is obviously very easy, this. I missed one there. I think Lena got 18 out of 20. Oh, well anyway, I can see, you can see it all. I think the closest one was Louise, 19 out of 20. Just call it a Swede, yeah. But you've heard that word, haven't you, rutabaga? You've heard people say this. Who knew they were talking about a Swede? It's the only one you lot didn't get. Wow. They call beetroots beets. Beat it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. It was obviously very easy, because nearly everybody got top marks. So there's no real fireworks tonight, but Louise, have these. More explosions. There you go. And Kaz got 19 too. So Kaz, do you want your own fake fireworks as well? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're bombs or fireworks, but it's what I had. Right, okay. So I shall see some of you tomorrow for the Pokemon mini quiz, which is at 4 o'clock because it's a family quiz. So we shall do Pokemon tomorrow. You have the green screen and everything back tomorrow. I'll just put it over there at the moment because it's just me and I didn't need it. And obviously please buy your ticket for Sunday's Big Fat Celebrity quiz, because that's how you get the link to it. And we're raising all this money for Woodshed. So you send it to me and I'll send it to Woodshed. You're very welcome, everyone, and I shall see you tomorrow and Sunday.